Hey everyone, this is Peggy with Sweet Tea Makery and welcome back to my channel. So today is part 2 of my fall leaves and woodland ruffle deco mesh wreath tutorial. So on part 1 we finished up making this wreath, and we used, kind of go over it, we used the new Dollar Tree gold frame. It's a 14-inch frame, and I did 10 twist ties on the bottom rung, and then I did 8 on top. And I used 4 different kinds of meshes, and we used the cream base on the bottom, and then I intermingled some of the other colors of some leftover deco mesh. So I just briefly wanted to show you that, and I already have a bow pre-made, and one that I had made prior, and we have a sign that we need to finish up. So this is a really cute leaf sign that I picked up at Dollar General. It has a monogram in it. Actually, you could do it either way, but I think this is the top. So we're going to add that and add the ribbons. So unfortunately, it took a little more time than I expected to do the base. So I decided to do a part 2. So these are the ribbons that I'll be using. I'm bringing in some green just to give it some dimension, and some of this pretty brown check, and it's a brown and cream, so a lot of people will call that rustic or primitive ribbon. And then I've got a pretty rust solid canvas, and then this really pretty fall leaves that we'll be using. So the first thing we're going to do is start adding the ribbons. And again, I did 10 on the bottom and 8 on the top rung. So I'm going to tilt you down and we'll finish up this wreath. So I started it, so you can see here, and so I'm going to continue on around, and we'll move this little pumpkin. I have some little add-ons I may add on to it, but we'll see. Sometimes I just like the ribbon and the sign. So I've cut my ribbons at 12 inches, and I fold them to the center, and then I'll just shift this over, and then we're just going to pinch them and give it a little flip, twist, and we'll add it into the next one, the next tie. So on my bottom outer ones, I like to have the 2.5 inch further toward the bottom, just because I think it kind of shows off the ribbon more. And if you want to see exactly how I put this together, please do go see part 1, and you'll see how I actually coordinated the 4 different mesh into the design. I love fall. I love the fall leaves, and I kind of love color, just period. So I love the traditional fall colors, and I love non-traditional. I don't have a personal preference. I think they all look beautiful. See if I can get that on there. And I will come back and trim up these twist ties once I finish, just to make sure that if I don't want to add some embellishments in it before I do that. So what I mean by that is that I picked up some cute little felt pumpkins that you can just run wire through, and I may come back and add some of those in, or I may add some leaves in. I haven't made a final decision on that. But I may just leave it with, it has a lot going on, so I may just leave it without additional embellishments. So, well, I'm going to find that next twist tie. And the only thing is, it does stick. The deco mesh does grab a hold of it, so. And we'll just pull it. Don't be afraid to pull out your deco, your ribbons to get them where you want to go. Want them to be placed. And if they get a little squished in the process, we can always shift them down. Come back and fluff. That's what I call it, fluffing it. Making it look picture perfect, like you imagine it in your mind. Okay. And we'll grab another set. Oh, wrong ones. I did that. I had thought about switching them up, but I guess I think I'll just keep. I was going to do every other one and switch them, but I think I'll just stay on track with the. It's called designing on the fly. Now, a lot of times I like to pinch mine like right in my hand versus laying it down, but either way can work. Okay, and we'll go to the next one. I like having it kind of like where that's pointing to the side, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a second. This is a pretty stiff, this leaf ribbon is pretty stiff, so it's a little harder to work with, but so you can see how that looks, and I'll show you this one, and this one's a little softer, but you can see how that looks. But I like them coming out to the side like that because it just kind of, to me, really makes it overall look really nice. So we're going to have 18 of these so that we can have 10 on the bottom and 8 on the top. And I've put all of the supplies I've used here in both part 1 and part 2. So you know exactly the materials that I used and where I got my sign and where I got my ribbons and my deco mesh. If you're just joining me, please let me know where you're viewing from. It's always fun to know where everybody is viewing from, where you live, and do you craft? Do you make wreaths, or do you make other types of crafts? You know, are you a beginner wreather maker, or are you a oops, got a little short on that one. I'm not new to making wreaths, but I've always pretty much made grapevines. Let me get this going here correctly. I squished it in a little too much. I've always made grapevine wreaths, or evergreen wreaths. Actually, it's my very first ones I started with. But then I started incorporating grapevines and silk florals. And then a few years ago, I started with some deco mesh. I was a little intimidated by it at first, but then you know, I saw a few people making wreaths, and so I actually started using some deco mesh in my grapevines and in my greenery. You know, kind of just putting an accent with my ribbons. I didn't go full on with the deco mesh until recently, which I like them all. So I like doing a little bit of deco mesh. I like doing a little bit of grapevine. The deco mesh can be very easy to me as far as the actual putting them together. For me, personally, I feel like it came pretty easy because I already had some experience working with ribbons and doing those color combinations and adding it into my grapevine and evergreens. But you know, there's always a learning curve as far as, you know, actually learning a specific technique. And this particular technique that I used here is called the Woodland Ruffle, and I used 3 layers of it. And again, we may just come back and fluff this. Let's see how many we've got. I think we've got around all 10, so let's just count back. Make sure I have enough. Make sure I cut enough. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I did cut 4 of those. Yep, and I cut 4 of those. And then 1. I think I'm going to have to, because I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have to cut 4 more of these, but we'll go ahead and put these in, and then I'll cut the remaining ribbons, just to kind of show you how to cut the ribbons. And I think we'll start with the leaf. And if y'all hear that, that's my child. Likes to sing a lot and is singing some type of song. I have no idea what it is, but she's a happy singer. Okay, so then we can just twist these the opposite way on top. Grab a hold of that so you can kind of see what we have here. Okay, we'll move on to our green and our brown check. And sometimes you'll get a ribbon that might be slightly longer than the others, but that's okay. Nobody will notice it. Okay. And again, we're going to form it into an X. And we can fluff that when we come back and finish it up. Now when I pinch them by hand, I just gather them in the middle and I just pinch it in the middle just like that. But you can certainly place it here and pinch. I'm just used to doing it by hand. And I give it a good usually 2 to 3 twists. Got a little bit of fuzz on there. If you're new to my channel, I do all kinds of crafts. I don't just do wreaths or deco mesh wreaths. I do swags and centerpieces, and as well as what I call some of the smaller crafts, and you know, some are Dollar Tree related, not all of them, but I love doing all type of crafting. So you'll find me doing some things that are made for your home, like things that you can do to for a table setting and tablescapes, which I love to do, and also just things that for your Christmas tree, to decorate your Christmas tree, and how to make bows and different kinds of bows, door hangers. I also paint, so I make some projects that have painting involved, and very simple painting, things that anyone can easily do and learn how to do, and just some fun crafts. Let's see which one that one is. There we go. And I would love, oops, that came a little loose. Felt like it was loose. Love if you would subscribe to my channel. You can just subscribe down, hit the subscribe button, and went down tight enough, sorry, and tap that red bell and it'll notify you when I upload new content. There we go. Okay, now we're doing a little better. And again, if these get squished, we can always fluff them back up. Sometimes it's hard to tell when they're solid which is the right side, so I have to really look really close at the way that the seam on these solid ribbons, there is a right side and a wrong side, but it is super hard to tell. There we go. And I'm not opening mine back up, I'm just putting them right on the top. I have plenty of room because I layered this ruffle with 3 ruffles, and when I did that, I pushed the mesh fairly hard down into the down toward the pipe cleaner. So I still have, as you can see, plenty of room, at least at least an inch or so, a little over an inch. So if I did want to place some florals in there, that could be easily done. Sorry, my child's laughing. I hope y'all can't hear that, but if you can, she's just laughing, having fun. I feel like I might have already done that. Let's see. I thought I counted correctly. We'll count these and make sure. I thought when I first cut it that I did do it correctly, so we shall see. Sorry, y'all. Trying to get that. Let's see if I need to cut any more. Or cut some more. I might have the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do. Okay. I miscounted. I did cut the right amount, so I don't need to cut any additional ribbons. Okay. So right now, I'm kind of just going to give you a look-see, and it has a lot of color going on here. So that's why I picked some solids, so that your eye would have a place to rest. And this leaf ribbon has a lot going on as well, so it gives it a lot of movement. So I think right now is I will place my sign first, and then or my bow, we'll see. I think I'll just get a feel for it. I kind of like the angle. And just decide if I want it up here with the leaf at an angle, or I could always place it, I'll just show you, I can always place it here in the center and then move my bow and place my bow at the bottom. So I will decide on that, and then we'll put it in there. I like it in the center with my bow on the bottom. I do like tails. Oops, sorry, y'all. Moving my chair. I don't know, because it's pointing down. I think it's too much going in the same direction, and I think it needs to go to the side. Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to put my sign on first. It really doesn't matter. We can do the sign or the bow, but we'll talk about this. So it had a hanger. Originally came with a white and black buffalo check hanger, and you can remove the staples. I didn't. I just trimmed off the hanger, and then what I did was I took some craft foam and cut a small sliver and took my pipe cleaners and stapled them down. Now you can also glue, but this I felt had a really nice, it didn't come through, but it came through, it's holding it nicely. So I didn't feel like I needed to add any additional glue to it. So I put it on 3 corners, so I can just work it down into the mesh. Make sure I have it placed right where I want it. This one is fairly, going to be fairly easy. I'm not going to pull it too tight, and we'll adjust this in the back. But I do want it to make sure that it's going to be firm in there. And then I'm just going to twist it around the base of the wreath form. And we can always trim off the excess. And I like to make sure mine is nice and secured. And we'll flip that over in just a minute, just to make sure it's secured. So I'm going to actually take these two here, and I'm going to work it through the mesh. And because I'm just going to go in between the mesh and find my form, and you can work it through. So just make sure we're going through to, yep, going around that. And it will be hidden. And again, I'm not pulling it too tight. We'll flip it over in just a minute. And then we just adjust our ribbons in any mesh. Now this does have an opening here, so you will see through to some of the things below. So I'm just going to move them out of the way so that it looks, you know, it gives it some color and it doesn't look flattened. Actually, I need to grab that one right through there. Push some of the mesh down, and I'm going to bring this over a little bit. There we go. And I'm okay with it being seen through. I'm perfectly fine with it. It gives it some color and dimension to the center. And again, we'll just pull these out so that it looks nice and fluffed. Any that we may have squished. Okay. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see so far what we have. So we have the leaf at an angle here, and then we'll come back and place the bow. Now I made this bow by hand, but I do use some of the other bow makers. I'm using the Pro Bow. I'm using the Easy Bow Maker Deluxe. I've used all of them, but predominantly I use going at an angle, just tilting just a little bit more just to get it just right. That's why I wanted to place the sign first, because I can always move the bow. Let's see if I like the way that looks. I like it at an angle. Okay. So hopefully these are long enough. If not, we can get some floral wire and lengthen this, but I think it'll be perfectly fine. And again, I'm going to move some of this mesh and some of this ribbon out of the way. And sometimes you can actually anchor it down to one of the twist ties, because I don't want to suck it down too much. Curl it. See. Gotta look at it again just to make sure before I pull that and tighten it down. Okay. That is where I want it to go. And again, I'm going to work this down to where I'm going to twist it around to the end here. Make sure I've got it in. feel a funky little place there for some reason. Huh, wonder why. I've lost it, y'all. Sorry. There we go. Okay. I need to go on the outside of that. My ring's getting caught up into the mesh, so it's kind of preventing that from that going in. Okay, y'all. Hold on. I think I'm going to have to flip this around. There we go. Grab that. I don't want it to loosen. There we go. And while we have this turned around, and I usually kind of go up around that second just to secure it. And we'll do that same thing with this. This is where the sign is. We'll just go back and secure it around the second bar. And this one we'll do the same thing. Where we've got that going, I think I already did it for the other one when I was down there. We'll flip it back. Okay, and our bow's a little smushed, but that's okay. We're just going to fluff it up. There we go. And I think I curled this one before, so we'll just re-curl it. You can use a dowel, or you can use this, which is actually an empty roll of from Deco Mesh. So I just love it because it just allows you to pull that curl and makes a nice pretty curl. And then some of them I leave them long. I like it that way. We'll just fluff up the actual, there we go. And this may be too long. I may tuck it in just to see. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. I think it's looking really pretty good. So at this point, I really think that there's a lot of movement going on with the colors. So I really don't think it needs any additional wreath embellishment. We'll take that under. So I really don't think it needs any additional embellishment. But you could put leaves in there, or pumpkins. You could add a few little pumpkins, you know, here and there, like up on the leaf, or actually, you know, down into the mesh itself. You could add a few of those, but I think they kind of get lost. So I think this one is really showing off the deco mesh and the ribbons, and the theme, which is the fall leaf theme. So I'm going to tilt you up so we can take a look at it. As a whole. And to finish this off, so here is the wreath. I'll hold it so you can see. So this is what it looks like finished. Sorry, y'all. And I would, of course, make a hanger for it, and then trim off any pieces that I feel on the back that need to be trimmed. And then you can also add some felt or a placemat, a round placemat, to keep it from scratching your door or your customer's door. But this is my finished product of my fall leaves and woodland ruffle deco mesh wreath. So I thank you for joining me for part 2, and I hope that we'll see you back here again. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the subscription button and tap the red bell so you'll get notified when I upload new content. I have some interesting new projects coming up that I'm excited to share with you, and can't wait to see you again soon. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.